Happy times in 2022 as we join you with another Equity Guru Investor Roundtable. What a distinguished group of individuals we have here, present company excluded. That would be me, I mean. Rob here in the corner in the basement with my basement dwelling pal Galen, who's looking up at the men in the penthouse. That would be Joseph Morton in the far corner above Galen. Joseph's first appearance on the Roundtable 2022. Congratulations. And then Vishal Vitura above me, where he always is, high rent district. All right, today it is MYND Life Sciences. MYND is MYND, and that is actually their symbol on the Canadian Exchange, MYND. CEO is Dr. Lyle Oberg and located in Kelowna, British Columbia. Mr. Morton, you have been writing about this fair firm. Please get us started.
Okay, well, one of the principal things I like about this company, and honestly about this sector, is its timing. Mm-hmm. It provides a solution to something which we are going to be experiencing probably for a good long time, unless we find a solution for it. And that is one of the leftover problems of the pandemic. Namely, we're all locked in the house in some capacity. We're dealing with people on social media who are perhaps less than savory. We're having arguments with our family members who are perhaps less than educated, or maybe I better ease off on that one. Maybe, but
depends who's watching.
It's taking a toll on us with our mental health. And this company, just like a few others in the psychedelic area, they're finding a way to deal with depression in a big way. And depression is something that we all face at some part in our life, but there's a small percentage of the population that deal with that heavy and head on. And we need this. We need companies like this out there doing the work. I mean, they've already got a lot of things going for them. They've got a partnership with the UBC. They've got patents. They got all the necessary licensing to be able to do the job. It's just a matter of waiting for the opportune time to get the formulations out and on shelves and presumably in your hands when you need it.
The neuropharmaceutical drug development company, MYND Life Sciences. Galen.
I'm pretty impressed with this company just because the science is so unique. Everybody out there right now is trying to solve major depressive disorder, but we're all going through the analog and ritualistic idea that it's the whole package. It's the entourage effect. It's the trip. It's the spiritual guide, and that you can substitute the trip and the spiritual guide for actually psychotherapy in and of itself. What really impresses me about MYND Life Sciences is the science. That the fact is what they're trying to do is determine that all of these neural conditions, depression, Alzheimer's, have to do with neuroinflammation. And neuroinflammation is something that can be controlled when you have an anti-inflammatory. And guess what psilocybin is? It's an anti-inflammatory. Exactly. So you don't necessarily need the trip, which everybody else seems to be focusing on. And right. I think that's going to lend to an incredible challenge to try and legalize this stuff, because you're still in the recreational end of things. And quite honestly, if you're using psychedelics compared to unless you're microdosing, but again, that's something that is a whole different game. But if you're using them in comparison to smoking pot as a recreation, it's like shifting from a Volkswagen to a Ferrari. Far different, and people are impacted on a much greater scale when they're using psychedelics. So people that have mental conditions already, mental health issues already, tend to slip off the deep end when they're in the psychedelics land, because it rips you right from reality. And some people cannot afford to have that happen. So what these guys provide is the medicine without the psychedelia. And I don't think we need the psychedelia. I think this is where we're going to push forward and have this as an actual pharmaceutical cure. Again, the problem with depression to date has been classical treatment has always been on symptom suppression. Right. whereas this is dealing with the base cause. Now, on top of the physical manifestation of what depression is, you do need psychotherapy. This isn't a take a pill and walk away and everything's fine. What this does is it sets up your brain to not be in a biological loop to disallow any behavioral conditioning that you may be able to do to slip yourself out of depression. Yep. So I like what these guys are doing. There's no pomp and circumstance. They're working with the Michael Smith Laboratories at UBC, which is a highly acclaimed scientific research unit. They have all sorts of patents coming down the line and a couple of drug candidates that they're pushing through, and they're doing the science, and they're doing it according to pharmacological clinical standards, whereas a lot of people are still dealing with the anecdotal going, hey man, Bob thought the trip was highly impressive and he was good with it. Well, the problem with that kind of science is that guys that usually volunteer for these tests are affluent. They're already keyed towards using them and are comfortable with them. And for the most extent, they're not already on that danger level of slipping off the light fantastic when they actually take these things. So what needs to have happen is we need to come back to center. We need to be able to do this as it should be as a science. And I think that's what the whole industry right now is confronting, is we've hit the reality trough, right? I think these guys pushing forward have a greater chance of coming up with something that's legitimate than everybody that's pushing shrooms on the other side.
Either Galen or Joseph here, but MYND Life, they do have a Health Canada license. So yes. Do you think that is a pretty significant competitive advantage against all these other?
It legitimizes their efforts more than most.
There you go. Don't trust that Bob guy, by the way.
No, Bob's a liar.
Bob's he's trouble.
Yeah.
Michelle, what are these charts doing? What's happening? What are we doing with the MYND Life stock?
Not really fun for psychedelic investors. I would say it's similar for the cannabis space as well. I would say that a lot of these small caps have been falling due to the overall market sell-off that we've been seeing, although some nice bids today, but obviously that's not the case because psychedelics and some cannabis stocks were selling off before the equity markets were selling off. And even today, when the equity markets were bid up quite nicely, a lot of the small caps didn't follow. And I have some support and resistance lines drawn here. I think way back when we did our show on MYND Life, an investor roundtable in the past, we were looking at this range here between 63 cents up to $1. And we were claiming that, hey, look, if we get that break above $1, very important psychological zone, and then from there we can maybe start to build some sort of trend shift. But this is the thing about ranges, and why I always recommend anyone that is trading a range. Sure, you can maybe front run, a breakout, but generally you want to be patient and wait for that breakout, because if that breakout doesn't happen or doesn't occur and it's not confirmed, this can happen, right? We just continue to range, and instead we broke below the support at 63 cents, and we've continued to drift lower and lower into December. And it looks like, here on January, the first day of trading, it looked somewhat positive, but the rest of the month we've just been drifting. So now we're going to draw a new support zone here. So a new price floor at pretty much, it looks like 19 or 20 cents there, which is exactly where we're at. We're probably going to be testing that when this video comes out, and we'll have to see if we do get a significant bounce from this support zone, or instead we see a breakdown, which means that the stock is going to continue to head lower. So what I would be doing right now, playing this as a range, we have our support there at 20 cents. Let's draw a resistance, I would say right up here at about the 30-cent zone. Similar like this sort of market pattern here, we just wait for that breakout above 30 cents to trigger some sort of, buy signal or a trend shift. Let's take a look at psychedelics though in general, and we've done this again with the cannabis stocks, but we're going to take a look at PSYK, which is the psychedelics ETF. I believe this is the one on the, this is the Canadian one. Psych is the Canadian one, PSIL is the American one. But, psychedelics have been hurting, right? Similar sort of outlook there with MYND Science. We had a bit of a support We were hoping that was going to hold and break, but instead we broke down and drifted lower, making record highs at, oh, what do you know, $4.20, 420. That number just shows up everywhere ever since Elon Musk has been tweeting about it. But yeah, it shows up on all these price charts and S&P price levels. But there we go. We hit record lows at 420, and we bounced on PSYK. So we have to look basically for an overall reversal here in some of these psychedelic stocks in general. PSIL in the US, no different, right? We had a support there. We thought that was going to hold, but instead we broke down. So all of these psychedelic stocks are, they're hurting right now. And I guess the positive thing is they look cheap. They look cheap right now, but saying that, I'm not saying that this is the bottom, right? We have to look for certain patterns. And as I said, for MYND Life, we want to see this range break out above 30 cents. Similarly on PSYK, we want to get maybe a close back above $4.80. And here on PSIL, a close above 575. So not looking too good for the psychedelics, but if you are a fan of psychedelics for the long term, you might be considering picking up some shares around this zone and looking at some good companies like MYND Life that distinguish themselves, in this space with that Health Canada license as well.
So here's the theory then, as we move forward with cash in hand, $7,500 each, by the way. Do we think, okay, it's pretty much as low as it's going to go. I'm going to hang around in the long term. This is going to be a long-term play. Do I bust some cash out for a low price and just see what happens down the road, or am I waiting for something? And Joseph, you're going first.
Yeah, well, the market cap is kind of interesting. The market cap is kind of interesting. This is essentially, even at this price, I think it's something of a steal. I like what they've been doing in both last month and the month before that. We're getting into Alzheimer's. They're expanding. They bought some IP. They've got some more patents. They're building up right now. Is basically what I'm saying. But I don't like it right now. I want to see what it looks like in about a month and a half, 2 months down the line. I want to see what the pandemic is going to do, and I want to pay attention to the trend line. I want to find out where bottom is. So I'm not putting in any. I'm putting $0, zero of your dollars into it right now. Right. But it is one to watch. In the next few months, that could change.
All right. Now, are you actually 7 feet tall, or is it just the psychedelics?
I'm 7 feet tall.
Oh, okay. Galen, what do you got? You spending any money?
Okay, as Vishal has stated, and this is just typical of the meme fucking investment community that we've been involved in over the last fucking 10 years. The problem is that, like with each bubble, everybody figures we can take the world and sell the world, and that's what exactly the ventures and companies tell us. We're going to take the world and sell the world. And then eventually people figure out, well, wait a minute, your market cap is more than you'd actually make selling to the world the product that you have in particular. What the hell's going on? Well, wait a minute, you're not really delivering yet, and there's no legislation to say that you can. What the hell's going on? Yeah. Or you've got this digital platform that doesn't really make any sense and no one's actually cottoning onto it. What the hell's going on? And then everybody backs out like a two-headed baby. So basically, this is what we've got going on right now, right? We have the whole industry in the basement. And this is not a dip. This is where it's normalizing to where it should have started from in the first place. We got all riled up when this thing hit the markets, and we've distorted things way out of proportion. So this shouldn't be an indicator like, oh my God, I just got to go away. No, this is where reality is actually coming into play. Right. And we have, I think, I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm not talking about these ETFs. I fucking hate those things. As far as MYND Life is concerned, I think we're probably hitting a bit of a basement. We're flattening out. Considering the IP that they have, the drug candidates they've got in play, the relationships they have, the license they have, they're probably worth is what they're trading at right now. And it's basically, in that respect, a steal because they're actually where they should be. So I think at this point, even though that these other guys, Joseph figures he doesn't want to step in right now, I think I wouldn't mind, and I'm not going all in just because I still think the industry needs to play itself out somewhat. But I wouldn't mind getting a piece of the action so I know that my toes are in the water. So I'm actually going to drop 3,500 on MYND Life because I really believe in the science. I think it's exactly what the industry actually needs, even though it doesn't know it yet. People are trying to feed off like mushroom squares and shit. No, what we need is medicine, right? We're not going to see a recreational aspect of this. It's just too fucking weird. It's not going to happen unless we all turn into the Netherlands, and that isn't going to happen. So best we can hope for is a medicinal aspect to this, and this is the way to go. That's my thing. So 3,500 for me, that's how I feel about it, man.
Galen, man, you should continue the meme theme here and say 4,200, man.
No, I'd like to punch Elon in the fucking face. That's what I'd like to do. Can we make that a meme?
3,500, even given the way the market is trending towards psychedelics right now.
Sorry, what's that?
3,500, even given the
I'm not talking about psychedelics. I'm talking about MYND Life. I don't give a shit about the ETFs or the sector. I know the sector's in the toilet. I think MYND Life has got something good to go.
And again, it's a long-term play for Galen.
Yeah, it is a long-term play. I'm a value investor, people. When I put my money down, I walk away. By the way, my portfolio is plus 500%, and I haven't looked at it in months. I'm not going to be a day trader having a daily heart attack and then at the end of the year going, where the fuck did all my profits go? That ain't the game.
I just want to see the photo of that two-headed baby.
Yeah, I know. He says that all the time. It's like, where's this baby you keep talking of?
All right, you're the deciding vote. Well, not really deciding vote. You're your own vote. Michelle, what are you doing?
So technically, as I said, it is looking interesting. I should probably mention a bit of a double bottom shape. So basically, it looks like a W, right? So it really depends if we can hold the support here. And again, I'm looking at it more of a technical approach here. Rob, I'm not putting any money down just yet. I would be interested if we do break above 30 cents, but the cannabis side and a lot of the small caps, psychedelics as well, are getting hit. But this is what I'm going to do. I will be subscribing to Galen's psychedelic weekly sector roundup. Here's one he did here. If he had $1 billion psychedelic sector edition, so I'm going to be reading these every Friday. Following the news for MYND Life Sciences, and if I see some sort of a bullish news or good news, and I look back at the chart and I see a nice little breakout there, then I think I'll make my decision there. But right now, I'm going to sit on the sidelines, and I'm just going to be subscribing to Galen's psychedelic sector and keeping an eye out on this company because he is the psychedelic sector master here. So if he likes the company, I'm intrigued and I'm going to follow it.
Thank you for that shameless plug.
That article is adjacent to us on the carousel today under MYND Life. And I think there was a photo there of the two-headed baby band.
Yes, exactly.
I think they're singing their song, What the Hell's Going On?
That's it. Oh, it was huge.
Galen, just quickly, if you had $1 billion, was MYND Life one of your picks?
Yes, MYND Life was one of my picks. I wanted to help them with the science. But here's where my thing is with the entire industry, is that it's just as fucked as cannabis and all the other ones. So basically what I would do is I would only spend $500 million across 3 different companies and then spend the rest on government lobbying and science, academic research. That's it. Nobody else deserves my money. Compass Pathways, suck it.
I take the other $500 million and go to the Caribbean.
Yeah.
All right. There you go. We got 0. We got 3,500. We got 0, but a very interested 0. No question about that. And you folks should check out Galen's article adjacent to us about that $1 billion. All right, gentlemen. That's what we're spending on MYND. That's MYND with a Y under Dr. Lyle Oberg. And it's a colonial company, and they're very into the science. And it's MYND Life Sciences. It's right there in the name. For Galen in the basement, and for the boys up in the penthouse, Joseph and Michelle, we urge you to do your own homework and your own research because nothing we say is guaranteed. We're just giving you some ideas and some education, but you have to do your own stuff. Past performance does not guarantee future results. And we'll see you next time on the Equity.Guru Investor Roundtable.
I I really do like the yell.